Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and if you're wondering, hey, where's the video? Where's your face? My camera's not working for some reason, so I'm just not going to use the camera today. But you'll still be able to get the gist of what we're doing, even if you can't see my face. So what we're doing this week, I know some of you have wanted to move on from Scratch for a little while, but I think there's still some things that Scratch can teach us, and I think this project is one that I would feel bad if we moved on without doing some kind of a clicker game. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a clicker game. If you've never played a clicker game before, they're essentially idle games where you click on a resource generator and then it generates a resource. And then after, a certain amount of resources have been built, you can, create something that makes an automated resource generator, so on and so forth. So for the game that I've put together, and I had a lot of fun with this. I just made a game basically where you're going to increase the population of Earth, try to increase it as high as you possibly can. And so the way you increase the population is you click the Earth and we get one extra person. And if you continue to click, notice that once I have 5 people, then I can generate something. I can generate a family. That button has turned on. And if I click it, I get a family, and it starts generating people at a regular rate. And now that have enough to buy another family, I can do so. And I can continue to click and buy families. And the more families I have, the faster my people generation will be. And now I have enough to buy a tribe, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of how clicker games work. You build, you just want to increase this number as high as you possibly can, okay? So we're going to build that game today. Now, it's really important that you don't make the same game that I just made. We want to make something different. I want you to make your own version, right? So don't make the same exact game that I just made. Make something a bit different. Make it a different story. Maybe instead of creating people on Earth, you are, making cats, or, you click on a rocket ship and it makes fuel. Or maybe you have in the center of your screen a small nugget of coal, and you're clicking on the coal to generate coal, and then you get more whatever idea you come up with. That's completely up to you. I'm just going to show you how I created my Earth clicker game so that you can recreate that process with your own idea. So I'm going to call this Earth clicker. And the first thing I'm going to do is grab a backdrop. For my game, the stars backdrop is all I need. And then I am going to create a sprite. Now, the sprite that I want is Earth. I'm going to generate the clicker first. Then we'll get all the buttons and stuff up and running. So I'm going to make this, let's say 150. Yeah, that looks about right. Put that right about there. Okay. So with the Earth here, I want to do something. I want it to, whenever I click on that, I want it to generate something. So let's go when this sprite is clicked. And I'm going to say, actually, you know what? I've noticed that my, maybe that's too far. I've noticed that my Scratch videos are maybe a little bit hard to read because the screen resolution is too big. So maybe if I zoom in a bit, it'll be easier to see what's going on. Okay, so when the sprite is clicked, what I want to do is I want to make, have it, play a sound. I'm not going to, I'll do sounds. That's fine. I'm not going to do, let's get rid of the sound. You guys can play sounds. I want your game to play sounds. I'm not going to play sounds just because sounds can get kind of annoying whenever we're making these videos. But what I do want it to do is whenever I click on it, I want it to do a kind of like, I want it to grow a bit and then shrink back down to its original size so that it's obvious that I clicked on it, right? So the way I do that is if I go to my looks tab here, and then I can go down to set size to, and I'm going to set my size. Right now it's at 150. I'm going to set it to 160. Then I will bring another one of these out because I'll need it in a minute. And then I want to wait, and I'm going to say 0.05 seconds, and then I'm going to set my size back to 150. All right, let's see what that looks like. Cool. So basically, it's just an indication that I'm actually clicking on it, which is what I'm looking for. Okay, perfect. Now, what I want to do is whenever I click this, I want to increase the population of the Earth. So the way clicker games work is you have one main resource, which is what you're trying to improve. It can be gold, it can be cookies, it can be, people, it can be whatever you want, right? For me, it's going to be the population of the Earth. So population of Earth. And I will set that. And now I want to change population of Earth by 1 when I click on the Earth. And notice that that works. We've got the clicking motion of our clicking game working perfectly. Now the problem is, if I stop the game and start it again, I'm still going to have 26. So to fix that, we need to, when the green flag is clicked, we need to set population of Earth to 0. So there we go. So the clicking is working perfectly. Great. So now what I want to do is I want to create a button. And this button is going to essentially, it's going to let me buy a family, right? So for you, it can be any kind of automatic resource generator that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a new sprite. And I'm going to choose this button 3 sprite. And I'm actually going to go into the costumes and delete the gray. I like the blue better. For this game, at least, the blue looks a lot better. So I'll put it kind of roughly in the area that I want. And let's put some text in here. So I'm going to put the text directly onto the button. And I will say family. And I'll bring it right about there. Let's change the text color to white. That looks great. And then we'll add some more text down here. I'll say cost 5 and people per year. You can't see that, but I will change that in a second. Let's shrink that down. Okay. So that says cost 5, people per year 1. All right. So family. Actually, let's put that. I'm going to try to put that right about there. And that looks okay. Oh, hold on. It's really tough to, there we go. That looks about right. Okay. That'll be fine for now. Okay, so now I have my family button. It says it's going to cost me 5, and the people per year is going to increase by 1. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that I want, not only do I want my population, but I want my population to grow without me clicking on the Earth, right? So for every family that I generate, I want to generate 1 person per year, or 1 person per second, essentially, is how this game is going to be structured. So I'm going to say people per year, and that'll be set for all sprites. And I'll put that up there. That looks good. Now, because I created a new variable, I also want to set that variable when the green flag is clicked. I'm going to say people per year to 0. Now, over here on this button, basically when I click that sprite, I want it to increase my people per year by 1, right? But first, what I want to do is I want to make sure that this button can't even be activated unless my people, my population is 5, because I have to have 5 people to generate one family. Now, don't ask me why creating a family deletes the people. That's just the logic of my game. Well, because without it, you'd be able to just infinitely generate resources. So, yeah, so we're going to get rid of the 5 people and then replace it with 1 family, right? So I need a variable, and I'm going to call this families. Oh no, I spelled that wrong. Let's rename that. Families. And notice that it automatically showed up on my screen here, but I don't want it to say families 0. I want it just to say the number. So what I'm going to do is right click here and change it to large readout, and then drag that over here to the corner of the box so that it shows, this is how many families you have, right? So I'll bring that over, make it look nice. Okay, so now I have 0 families. It's going to update that as we go, but I want this button to gray out whenever we don't have enough families to click this button. So that's actually pretty easy to do. I'm going to go to my events when the green flag is clicked, and forever, I want to be checking this forever, obviously, right? So we'll say if else, and what we're looking for is if my resource, whatever resource it is that we're checking this against. So for my case, it's not people per year, it's population of Earth. So if the population of Earth is less than 5, then we are going to actually add a ghost effect to that button, just so it looks like you can't click on it. So we'll say in the look section, if we go to right here, we can say set color effect to 0. Let's bring that out. And instead of color effect, I actually want to change it to ghost. So set ghost effect to, and let's say 60. 60 is a good number. And then if we do have 5, we actually want to clear all graphic effects on this object. So let's test that out and see if that's working. So when we play, notice that it turns transparent and it's really hard to see, right? But if we add 5 people, then it pops in and it looks like we can click on it. Perfect. Okay. Now, the other thing we need to do with this is we need to actually set up the functionality so that when we click on it, it does something, right? So what we're going to do is let's grab a when this sprite is clicked block. And actually, I'm going to bring them over here. When this sprite is clicked, we'll grab another if else, because what we want it to do is we want it to say if the population of Earth is less than 5. So let's just duplicate that. So if the population of Earth is less than 5, we don't want it to do anything. We're just going to leave this if statement blank, meaning nothing's going to happen whenever we do this, right? But if it isn't greater than 5, meaning if it's, or less than 5, if it's 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever, then we'll do something here in the else. The first thing we want to do is play a sound effect, right? I'm not going to pop the sound effect. I'm not going to put the sound effect block in there because, again, I'm going to stay away from sound effects for this project. But you can put your sound effects in there, whatever makes sense for your game. But the first thing we need to do is we need to start changing some variables. And as a matter of fact, all we really need to do is change some variables. So let's change population of Earth by -5 because we want to actually spend that resource. Then let's change people per year by 1 so that we have 1 more person per year. And then let's say, let's change families right here by 1 so that we have an extra family. So now when we play, we can create 5 people. We can click on this to generate 1 family. So now we have 1 family and 1 person per year, but notice it's not generating a new person every time we want, or every second, right? So let's go ahead and fix that. Over here in the Earth block, we want to set up a, let's do, let's do it here. Let's do a when green flag is clicked. So when the green flag is clicked, and forever, we're going to look for something. So we're always going to be checking for something. As a matter of fact, we're going to wait 1 second because that's the interval that we want to wait. And then we're going to change the population of Earth by the people per year variable. Now, the reason why this works is because people per year is set to 0 at the beginning of the game. But as we increase people per year, it's going to actually start changing the population of the Earth every iteration of that, or every second for us. Your game can have a bigger or smaller iteration if you'd like. So let's go ahead and play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have a family. I'm going to buy the family. Now notice that we're increasing population every second. Okay? Perfect. Our game is actually functioning at this point. The only thing that we need to do is basically add new buttons and increase the variable. So I'm going to do one, for example. So first, I'm going to change this, the sprite name to family. And now I'm going to duplicate it. And I will change this to tribe. Okay. And so the tribe is going to go right down here, right about there. We'll go into the costumes. We will change the text. Tribe. And the cost for this will be 50. And we'll say people per year is going to be 10. Okay. And then in the code, we can change if the population of Earth is less than 50. If the population of Earth is less than 50, then we'll say -50 people per year by 10. And we'll change not families, but tribes, which we don't actually have a tribes variable. So let's make that. Tribes. We will change this to large readout. Put it roughly where it's supposed to go, and change tribes by 1. And then we also want to remember, because we have a new variable here, we want to set tribes to 0 at the beginning of the game. Oh, we didn't set families to 0 either. Let's do that. Okay, so families and tribes. So let's test that out. 5. And it, I clicked and dragged. It makes it easier as well to generate more. So like if we have 10 families, we're actually generating 10 people per second. So it actually makes it easier. Notice that once I hit the 50 threshold, my tribe turned on. And if I click it, I am now generating 20 people per year because I have 10 families and 1 tribe. And now my population is growing quickly. That's essentially what we're doing here. So at a certain point, once you build all your buttons and get it all working, your game will look like this. Again, we're just duplicating the buttons. We're making sure that all of the variables are set up. Now, when you get to the larger sections, like the bigger numbers where you're dealing with millions or trillions or billions or whatever, you can also create a cheater button, which I have here. Basically, what this button does is when I click it, it adds 10 million to the population of the Earth. So when I play my game, if I click it, notice that everything that costs less than 10 million now turns on. I have 10 million people on Earth, and I can buy whatever I want. So I'm going to buy a state. Oh, did I click out of it? Come on. Oh, wait, what? What's going on here? Anyway, State is buggy, apparently. Let's see what's going on here. Interesting. That's weird. I can buy everything else. I can't click on state for some reason. Oh well. See, but that's kind of why you want to build in a button that lets you cheat so you can try everything. And country is going to be a lot because I need 500 million. Let's keep going, almost there. And notice I can create a country. Oh, now state's working. Did I add one extra zero? No, 15 million. Interesting. Okay. So anyway, so that's my game. That's my clicker. And you can make whatever you want. Again, there are hundreds of different clicker games out there. Don't just make the same game that I did. Make something new, make something different. With a different logic to it. Make sure that it makes sense, that, when I'm going to play this game, I want to see, that it's obvious what I should click first. And I want to see that these things work properly and whatnot. So anyway, I'm going to leave you to it. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time.